I think you can take a snapshot in time, maybe a 1 or 2 year period, looking at some standard moving average levels and see if the stock actually reflects that it relies on those. You know, if you find
Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep, brought to you by Charles Schwab. We have Otavio Dalarossa on the line, and he is founder and CEO of Nvestly. He's a financial expert specializing in investments and the stock market. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you, Joe?
We're doing good. Could you just give us a little bit of your education and your market background and kind of how you ended up what you're doing now?
Sure. First of all, really happy to be on the show. What you guys are doing. So my background, I'm originally from Brazil. I lived in LA for about 10 years. In LA, went to UCLA, did undergrad out there, studied engineering. Actually studied civil engineering, which has nothing to do with the market. And ended up falling in love with the markets around 2008, just kind of watching things go down, and started tracking things pretty much every single day from there.
So what did you take from your engineering background and degree into the market, or wasn't there anything?
So I was really looking to build more of a quantitative foundation. So I ended up doing a master's in engineering as well at UCLA. And at UCLA, I started taking classes in Anderson at the business school. So I think that's kind of where I cut my teeth in terms of finance. I ended up teaching a class at the engineering school as well, helping out in corporate finance and entrepreneurship. And, you know, just really fell in love with the markets and started my own investment club. That turned into a little fund of itself. And, you know, given that it was a really tough job market, there was really no jobs, everyone's firing everyone in the financial industry, I kind of leveraged the investment club and the fund to break my way into the industry. So after that, I worked at Capital Group for a little bit, working with fixed income pricing, and then made my way over to Wilshire Associates, where I worked in the private markets group. So in terms of, I guess, how the engineering stuff related to finance, you know, it really didn't. It made me pretty decent at math. And my master's was actually, it was a concentration in earthquake engineering, so I tell people that I became really good at looking at charts, but not much else other than that.
The reason I ask is because a couple of other of our guests and a couple of other traders that are pretty active, Nick Shaheen, for example, I think is an electrical engineer, and it's probably just the discipline in your thinking and the work that you had to complete to get those degrees that makes you good at the market. So you're into quantitative analysis. So what kind of data are you analyzing?
So you mean today?
Or just overall? I mean, I know that you're involved with social media investment platforms. What do you look at? Are you looking at Twitter? Are you looking at stock twits? Explain how social media investment platforms work.
Yeah, sure. So I can tell a little bit more about that. So just a quick background, Nvestly is a social investment platform and an investment dashboard. It links up to brokerages securely. It's kind of like, if anyone's familiar with Fig or Personal Capital, it's like Fig or Personal Capital meets StockTwits. And, in terms of the data, I'm pretty much a data hog, so I will cut things up and look at them in whatever way that I can. I usually, as far as my practice goes, I store my data. I mean, to get pretty nerdy, I have all my data in a SQL database, and I chop it up using mostly Excel and some MATLAB. Our team works in Python, so we do a little bit of work in that. And we really look for, any kind of salient, data points within the data. So really trying to look at it across multiple dimensions and extract insights from the data. To tell you, to tell you a little bit more about how I use engineering at Wilshire, over there, one of the issues that we had, so Wilshire has four divisions, right? One of them was the private markets group. And the private markets group specializes in anything in the private markets under the sun. So we invested, in VC, in PE, in real estate, real assets, infrastructure, timberland, basically a bunch of illiquid stuff. So one of the challenges was, how do you construct a portfolio, a balanced portfolio of alternative, very illiquid investments? Unlike alternative investments in hedge funds, which can be relatively liquid, kind of a year or less, a lot of these investments were not liquid for upwards of 5 years. There's no liquidity for 5 years, literally. When you make an investment in a VC fund, you may not see a dollar of kind of realizations for 4 to 5 years. So in that sense, the challenge was really to take a lot of the historical data and, use that information on cash flows to try to model out what the expected cash flows would be for these different investments that we're looking at. So it was a lot of fun. I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but I think there were some practical applications from kind of the engineering stuff, as far as the data goes.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get a handle on the data, that you're looking at. Is it different for every project that you're looking on? Are you looking for finite cash flow data on these investments? What exact data are you looking at?
So at Wilshire, I looked at cash flows. So
Okay.
we were just looking at historical cash flow data for different types of funds.
Okay.
So, as an example, a typical product, kind of on the institutional side that dealt with private investments, these things, I don't know how familiar everyone is with, products on the institutional side and the private side, but these things are usually called fund of funds. They're not as popular today, so there's a variety of new products that are out there. And they might be pretty diversified across a number of different kind of asset classes on the private side. So you might have some private equity. Within the private equity, you might have funds of different sizes. So you might have a few smaller funds, kind of 1 to 200 million in size. You might have some larger funds, maybe more kind of your traditional middle market buyout funds that are between 500 million to $1 billion. And that might comprise kind of the bulk of the portfolio. And then you might have some VC investments there as well. So you might have some commitments to kind of seed and growth stage VCs. And you might have some secondaries as well. And so we would just look at the cash flow data. And Wilshire has a lot of historical data. They've been in the market doing that stuff since the 90s. So I would just take all the cash flow data, which sometimes would break Excel. The whole thing would freeze up and you have to use something different. And just kind of plow through it and see, what can we expect today, looking at these new opportunities today based on what we saw in the past. And that's kind of the approach I think everyone pretty much takes when looking at data in the market, right? You're trying to look at a chart, draw some assumptions, some conclusions, and say, can this pattern kind of repeat itself in the future? And I think the thought process was very similar, where we're looking at cash flows and saying, okay, here's kind of the J curve, here's the expected cash flows for this portfolio of the liquid investments. Is that kind of what we can expect going forward?
Okay.
I don't know if
that does. So why are social media investment platforms good for the novice investor?
Yeah, so for the novice investor, it's an opportunity to follow people that really know what they're doing. So you take a platform like Nvestly, we show the top investors based on their real portfolio returns. And people are ranked for the week, for the month, for the year, and kind of all time. And so it's an opportunity for someone who doesn't know too much, doesn't know what investments to look at, to take a look at these top investors and top traders and look at what they're holding. So on Nvestly, when you go to someone's profile, you can see their current portfolio. and that's kind of, we call it real and verified information because it's directly from the brokerage. There's no dollar amounts that are ever shown. So I usually say it's not about how much you have, it's what you do with it, right?
Correct.
So for a novice investor, you can browse through these top traders, look at what different things that they're trading or holding right now, and just get in a conversation. So another thing that I emphasize for people that are starting off right now is finding a support group. You know, a lot of times for people that are starting off today, you know, investing can be pretty daunting, pretty confusing, and kind of a lonely thing. You know, there's all these different social media platforms out there, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And it's difficult still to connect with people that you can trust. You know, even connect with friends about investing because it can be kind of a touchy subject. So we're really trying to bring that wall down. And so far, you know, we've gotten positive feedback. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so you're getting data and information from brokerage firms on what people are trading?
Yeah. So the way Nvestly works is that it links up to one's brokerage, similar to Mint. We use technology from Intuit to make that happen. So it's something that at this point is a very stable and mature technology. You know, Mint's been using it for almost 10 years now. And we allow people to share that information if they wish. You know, we don't force anyone on Nvestly to input any brokerage information if they don't want to. But a lot of people have a lot of fun with it because when you link up to the brokerage, it generates your historical track record. So it's kind of like an instant investment resume, if you will. You know, so some of the more experienced or active traders like to get on there, kind of show off their returns,
Okay.
you know, have some fun with that, post their trades. And the privacy is kind of like Twitter or Instagram. So
Okay,
you can be
so
public or private, right?
So you're getting the information you're getting for the brokerages, or like as if I signed up for Nvestly, then you would be just seeing all my trades and what I'm doing, right? And being able to analyze that. You can't see anybody else's, I assume.
If you sign up for Nvestly, you can link up your brokerage, and you can not only see your own information on your own private dashboard, but you can browse through other people's portfolios. And that's really kind of the innovation that we're bringing out there is adding that element of real investment information, of real portfolios to the social space. So absolutely, you can browse through other people's real portfolios. Like you can get on there right now and see my crappy portfolio. Right, I'm still holding some Yandex. Right, Yandex got crushed with the currency stuff, given Russia and the Ukraine. I'm holding some Facebook, you know, long on Facebook for the holidays.
Okay, I got it. So everyone that signs up on the network, you know, if I signed up, you could see my trades and I could see your trades, right? That explains it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can see portfolios, right? So you can see my portfolio, my current portfolio. And what we do is we let people disclose each trade and kind of highlight it on their wall in the form of a post. So we call it a trade post.
Gotcha. Okay. And all right, so novices can put their trades up there and maybe get some feedback from people. Experts can show off their track record. Definitely benefits there. Are there some other benefits to using social media platforms like Nvestly?
Yeah, Nvestly does a lot of analytical work as well. So, you know, that's something that I personally really appreciate. So one thing that we do is we generate your performance and we kind of normalize the cash flows. So for people that have used something like the Google Finance Portfolio Tracker, if you insert cash or if you take cash out, at least it used to be that the performance would jump up and jump down. So we kind of normalize for that. So that allows you to kind of benchmark, you know, against the market and against even friends and other indices if you want. Another thing that we do is portfolio beta, so you can take a look at your portfolio beta. We show holding period stacks, so it's a pretty cool way to keep track of your trading statistics if you're an active guy. And we let you visualize your trades on your performance. So for people that are familiar with TradingView, And I think there's other guys that are doing something similar out there now as well. But TradingView, really cool charting company, love what they do. They allow people to make posts on a chart, and whenever someone makes a post, it generates a little dot on that performance line on the chart. And so we're kind of doing the same thing with the trade. Whenever you make a trade, we let you see that trade on your performance chart. And if you want to highlight a trade, right, we let you post that trade to your wall. Everyone has a wall kind of like Facebook. And so when you post a trade on your wall, you're highlighting, for example, Joel sold Twitter, yesterday before earnings, right?
I wish.
And you can kind of highlight that and write notes on it. And so you can see, I'm selling Twitter, I'm taking profits ahead of earnings, don't like the risk, whatever your thesis might be. And later on, you can go back to your trades and kind of revisit why you made that trade. So not only can you visualize the trades on your chart over time, each trade is kind of a little like a dot or a flag on your chart. You can go back to your wall, and the trades are linked up so that you can see your thought process, right, and kind of learn from your own mistakes and remember the good moments really as well.
Try and create a winning pattern is basically either from yourself analyzing your own trades or analyzing the trades of other successful traders. Well, that sounds great. Otavio, thanks for coming on the show. Otavio Dalarossa, founder and CEO of Nvestly. You should check that out and check out social media and the platforms for investing. Thanks for coming on. Have a great day. We hope to speak to you again soon.
Great. Thanks, Joe. It was a pleasure.